Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to the Salam Media Mid-Morning Show with me, Zahira Bam Ismail. We'll be crossing live to Wayne Duvenage, the CEO of Outer, as we've just received news of Mayor Gwamanda's resignation from office. Wayne Duvenage, Outer CEO, is also part of Johannesburg Crisis Alliance, and this is active citizenry that has been put together by the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation, Organization Undoing Tax Abuse, Action for Accountability, Defend Our Democracy, Johannesburg Inner City Partnership, and Rivonia Circle. Wayne, welcome to the studios. It's good to have you on air, Wayne. We're just making sure your sound is there. Wayne, you're part of an organization that is holding people in office accountable for the lack of leadership that we're currently seeing. Tell us today about this resignation that we've just heard coming from Mayor Gwamanda's offices.
Yeah, look, it's long overdue. It's very welcome. ATA, as you know, is part of the Joburg Crisis Alliance, which is a consortium of a number of organizations across the city who've been very...
Sorry, Wayne, we're just losing you on sound there. Okay, we're just going to try and get Wayne back to get sound through. I know that we are losing him on sound while our producers get that. Wayne, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Oh, there we go. Perfect. So we were talking about the fact that the organizations that have come together are active citizen organizations, not private entities who've come together to hold leadership accountable. You saying that this resignation coming in from the mayor's office has been welcomed. Please tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, look, Gwamanda has been in this position for over a year and 4 months. He's had ample time to deal with many of the issues, and he has certainly not gained the trust of society in the way the city is being managed. It is in a dire situation. We need strong leadership that is going to stand up to the challenges of political interference. We know there's a lot of that. And so while this development is welcome, the big question is, who do they replace Gwamanda with? Are we going to just see moving of the chairs on the Titanic? We know that Dada Moreira is one of the favored candidates by some of the political masters that make this decision. Our concern is that he's part of the same team that has been responsible for the current problems that we have. So we don't believe he's necessarily the right person. As we've always said, you can't leave people in charge of the solution who created the problem in the first place. So it'll be very interesting to see who is going to take over this role and what they're going to do about fixing Johannesburg.
So as you rightly described it, Wayne, we are sitting on the Titanic at the moment. We've seen this crisis implemented over and over again, with many citizens feeling highly despondent about the crisis around us. Where do we even start with this? When Mayor Gwamanda's office basically said they've put good governance in cause and they've had best audit outcomes that we've seen in the years, how do you respond to that? Have they put anything into place that the successor can come in and step in on? Or are we going to keep having new mayors coming in, starting from scratch all over again?
Well, you know, we've got a local election in less than 30 months' time, and that's the challenge now. The new mayor certainly is going to inherit a poison chalice. This is a broken city, but we don't buy the fact that Gwamanda has led the city well and had good, clean audits. The real issues that we have is that there have been reports and very compelling reports about people who need to be held responsible for the fire, for instance, in the city center that killed 74 people. No one's taking responsibility. No one's been held accountable. The fact that they go and try and increase levies to prepaid meter users for electricity instead of showing us how they can reduce the cost, reduce the waste that is taking place in many of the areas of the city, the water problems, the electricity substation problems, the list is long. We don't see this current mayor and his council working with civil society to overcome some of these challenges. You must understand that no city and no administration is going to do it on their own. They need to work with business and civil society, and yet we don't see this willingness to do so. So I'm afraid, putting Dada Moreira in is going to be just really part of the same problem. We need a visionary leadership that's going to have the civil courage to stand up to the political interference and start holding people to account and fixing the city.
And I think that comes down to the point of if we need good leadership, there has to be accountability, there has to be transparency, and we need to actually see things going forward. To what extent do the organizations under Johannesburg Crisis Alliance have an input or an influence in also suggesting the right people for this role?
We haven't chosen a specific candidate because we don't want to get into that space. Otherwise, it looks like we're trying to interfere. What we're saying is that whoever your leader is, that person's going to need to convince society, convince the residents of Johannesburg that this is somebody who has the vision to take this 80 billion rand a year
Mm.
budget and make the most of it. Picture a business that's backers against the wall with an 80 billion rand turnover. How does it fix itself? Well, it first deals with the waste, deals with the unnecessary expenditure, gets its people back to work, cuts its cloth to suit the challenges that it faces. Now, Joburg faces many challenges from infrastructure down to management and leadership. So we need an executive mayor and his mayoral council and the administration to do this work properly. We're never going to be convinced if we're going to keep putting people into these positions that are puppeteers to the puppet masters and the politicians. So I'll give you an example. We've said to the Joburg City power team that we will work with, if you work with civil society, we will help you to introduce issues that are going to tackle vandalism of your substations, for instance. Resident associations will put cameras onto those, have their armed responses there. The community will make sure that there's no vandalism of those substations. And their response has been meaningless. They haven't engaged with civil society on that. Now, that's just one example of many other ways of trying to fix the city. So if we don't have a city management that's going to reach out to civil society and business to find and introduce solutions collectively, I'm afraid we're going to have more of the same.
Absolutely. And we saw that even with the water crisis, with many civil societies coming up saying, offering assistance, because we've got many people in different positions saying that we've got the expertise, we've got the experience, let us be able to help you. And we've seen this pushback coming back from government saying, we can do this on our own. And clearly they can't. Wayne, before I let you go, we've also had a lot of some listeners asking, what would you say to the people who say Kabelo was doing well, that Mayor Kabelo was actually stabilizing the city?
Well, he wasn't. Quite frankly, we haven't seen that. The city has now gone out and got another 2.5 billion rand loan. It puts us into a dire situation as a city. You can't borrow your way out of managing the crisis that we're in. The road infrastructure is crumbling. There's less than a budget for 100 kilometers of resurfacing when we need thousands to be resurfaced now. The water infrastructure, the list goes on. So show us one person that's been held accountable for maladministration in the various business units in Johannesburg. We haven't seen that. We've seen reports that have implicated people like Helen Burtis of the the Joburg Property Company, and yet she gets protected. And the board members who are trying to fix those entities and hold people like Helen Burtis to account are removed instead of her. I mean, that's interference. That's under his watch. So we don't buy the fact that he was turning the city around at all. He certainly doesn't inspire us as the type of leader that's going to take the city forward.
Absolutely. Wayne, we thank you for this. We see that Herman Mashaba has tweeted as well, saying that the resignation has come because of Action SA's intervention. How do you respond to that?
Well, that's good. Again, politics is doing its job. Again, we say too little, very little, and very late. Not too late.
Mhm.
I guess there's no time like now to deal with this. But what we're saying is great. These are the politicians that have the power to make these changes. What we need to see now is who are they going to put in his place? Because if you want to try and fix the problem by the people who created the problem and the current MECs of finance and the mayoral committee, I'm afraid they're all part of the problem. We need good, strong, visionary leadership to take this world-class city, which is supposed to be world-class, to the world-class levels that it needs to be, this vibrant economic hub of South Africa. At the moment, it's dying, it's decaying, people are leaving, and it's creating a big problem for property values, stranded assets for people who've invested in this city.
Thank you so much, Wayne. I think we all looking forward to following the work, not just of Outer, but also Joburg Crisis Alliance, to see how you hold leadership accountable. And hopefully we get the right leaders in place to bring us exactly to where we're meant to be as a world-class city. Thank you so much for joining us on Salam Media this morning. That was Wayne Duvenage, CEO of Outer, sharing his thoughts and input with regards to the current resignation of our mayor from the office. We will be coming back with the rest of our program. Stay tuned after this ad break.